It's official. Devils continue to crack down on their roster. Who's staying? Who's going? What's next for New Jersey as they find their team? Implications? Let's talk. Welcome, Devil fans. Glad you're here. Definitely want you sticking around, though. Hit the subscribe button. Season getting underway on Tuesday. Devils not in action until Thursday against Carolina. So, Devils have some roster news to report. Shane Lachance has made the New Jersey Devils. So, congrats to Shane Lachance. Really strong, prospects challenge. Had a nice camp, good preseason. So, he is on the Devils roster, will be there Thursday night. Whether he plays or not, we'll get into that. But has made the team, so good for Shane Lachance. In other news, though, Nico Daws put on waivers yesterday. Did clear earlier today. Look, I've said it before. With the way they signed Jake Allen's contract, the Devils are kind of done with the whole entire experiment of him potentially being a backup or a starter. Look, they drafted him in 2020. They just gave Jake Allen a 5-year deal. They're in contract extension talks with Jacob Markstrom right now. They're kind of moving off of the Nico Daws experiment. Now that he cleared waivers, it kind of shows where the Devils are at with Nico Daws. He's got 1 year left. Doesn't seem like he has a ton of value. I mean, he's been more so an AHL goaltender and NHL. I mean, it's been kind of up and down. Short, leash last year. Year before, it wasn't super great. So I think with Nico Daws, you're probably looking at him moving off at the end of this season. But you never know. Maybe a team needs a goaltender, needs a little bit, of depth at that position, and they feel a little bit more comfortable with a guy who's had experience. So you'll wait and see on that. But Nico Daws seems like pretty much is his time as a New Jersey Devil is pretty much over. But Shane Lachance, just getting started. Look, Shane Lachance bringing up the team. I mean, there's no risk right now. He can't get claimed off of waivers. He's young. You can set him down when you want. And when you have players like that, I mean, they're probably a little bit more easier to keep on your roster. I mean, you can send them down. You can bring them up. You don't have to worry about another team snatching them. Nico Daws, completely different situation. A team could have taken a chance on them. They didn't. So when you have Shane Lachance, you looked at what you did. You kind of helped Boston. You brought Shane Lachance in. And I always say, you did this for you. You did this because you saw something in a prospect. Devils saw something. And, 6-8 months later, he's made the team. So that's really good. That is good job, creating value, managing your assets well. You took on a little bit of cash last year for a couple of months, and then you get a roster player, seeing whether he'll start game one. That will be seen. But looking at Shane Lachance's numbers, 30 points, 40 games last year, bigger guy. We've seen New Jersey recently. They are trying to get a little bit heavier in their bottom six. I know they just did trade away Kurtis MacDermid, but they are trying to get heavier, a little bit bigger in their bottom six, and Shane Lachance is that. He's a little bit of a bigger player, maybe a little bit harder to move around in front of the net. I mean, he did look really good at the Prospects Challenge. Preseason looked good there too. So seeing Shane Lachance make the team isn't overly shocking, I would say. What I've said probably over the summer that he was going to make the team, I would have probably hedged against it, but he looked pretty good. And when you're young, you look good. There's not too much risk, and if they want to send you down, they can. You give yourself a better opportunity to make the team. Shane Lachance took advantage of that opportunity, and he will be on the Devils' opening roster. But looking at the lineup, and I mean, I know right here he is a fourth-line center. I don't see him playing there. But looking at the roster, does he play game one? Well, I think this has a lot to do with Stefan Nason's injury. What is Stefan Nason? Where is he in terms of the rehab process? Is he going to be available for game one? And then we recently saw a report that it's going to be a little bit of time. That time, unfortunately, we don't know. So does Lachance get a shot here game one? I'd probably hedge on the fact of no. Because it does sound they're going to sign Luke Glendening. Luke Glendening probably fits the lineup. And you probably are looking something similar to this. You're probably looking something similar to Hughes, Bratt, Dodonov, I'd go Griciuk on your top line. Hischier, Mercer, Meier, Palat, Glass, Brown. I mean, I can name them all. I basically already did. But you're probably looking something closer to that. Luke Glendening also had a really nice preseason. He's probably going to get offered a contract. He's probably going to be in there on game one. And that does, kind of make me a little bit worrisome, or maybe it doesn't feel great because I've talked about it before. Going with Cody Glass as your third line center, then a 36-year-old on a PTO as your fourth line center, doesn't seem like the best winning formula. Doesn't seem like the best way to manage your roster. So that's what I think is going to happen game one. I don't think Shane Lachance, although having a really nice camp, good preseason, younger, little risk, makes game one. I think you're probably looking at Luke Glendening as your fourth line center, Shane Lachance up in the box to start game one. Now, that doesn't mean that starting next week, he's not in the lineup. Maybe an injury or player doesn't play great. He could very well find his way onto this lineup. But game one, it doesn't really feel like that. It feels more so this is a player who did make the team on a low risk in terms of roster movement. So it's a little bit easier to get done. And, you're looking at Stefan Noesen. They're obviously monitoring that. When is he going to be back? Because that's what this kind of feels like a placeholder for Stefan Noesen. And when Stefan Noesen does come back, you can send him down. And there's no risk. I mean, that's where I think New Jersey kind of was with, taking Shane Lachance on the roster. You bring Stefan Noesen back, you can send down Shane Lachance. You're not going to lose anything. He'll be fine. He'll be there. In the future, does he make the team as a full-timer? I mean, he looked really good. So there is that potential opportunity there. But right now, it seems like that's probably what they're going to do. Luke Glendening does sound like he's going to be signed, and he'll probably be their fourth-line center starting off. Would like to see Griciuk up on the top line. I know, him and Paul Cotter have looked great. They have. But I think he'd look even better with Jack Hughes and Jesper Bratt. I think that would work out even better. But we'll see. We'll wait on that. We'll see what Sheldon Keefe wants to do with that. I mean, he might go, two-way game's not completely there. We want a little bit more two-way in our top six. But like I've said before, younger players, let them do what they do well. They'll learn the game. Let them, offensively go score, go create, go in that transitional game. That's what New Jersey does really well. I like to see that, but we'll wait and see. I mean, there's no lineup news in terms of what it's going to look like game one against Carolina, who, obviously should be right there at the end of the year with New Jersey at the top of the division. So it's an important game. It's a fun one. Game one, Thursday night in Carolina. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Are you happy with Shane Lachance? Do you want to see him in there in game one? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you guys all really soon.